Did you know the Red Bull RB21 could be Verstappen's Achilles heel in 2025? What looked like the ultimate weapon at Suzuka could be hiding a technical problem no one expected. Before you continue watching, let me know your opinion in the comments. Do you think Red Bull will maintain its dominance, or are we witnessing the end of an era? Why could the RB21 become the biggest threat to Max Verstappen? In this video, we'll unravel the strengths and weaknesses of the Red Bull RB21, the car that could define Verstappen's future in F1 in 2025. To understand why the Red Bull RB21 could be a problem for Verstappen, we must first look at the 2025 season. This car was born as an evolution of the RB20, a machine that dominated the championship with authority. But, despite expectations, the RB21 has proven to be a car with a contradictory personality, brilliant on some circuits, but frustrating on others. From the moment Max Verstappen began testing the RB21 in preseason, it was clear that this car had immense potential. At Suzuka, for example, Verstappen achieved a historic pole position with a 4/10 advantage over Lando Norris, thanks to its aerodynamic efficiency in fast corners. However, this same car showed alarming problems at tracks like Bahrain and China, where the temperatures and the car's balance caused excessive wear on the rear tires. Most surprisingly, the RB21 is not an easy car to read. At first glance, it seems like a natural evolution of its predecessor, but on the track, it behaves as if it had two faces. Verstappen described it bluntly: "Every weekend is like solving a new puzzle." This statement sums up the great dilemma facing Red Bull. They have a car that can be unbeatable in certain circumstances, but is also capable of betraying its driver at the least expected moment. The big question fans are asking is why such a dominant team has ended up with such an unpredictable car. The answer seems to lie in the technical changes the RB21 has undergone. From the redesign of the cooling system to modifications to the floor and suspension, each new part has brought advantages and disadvantages. What was expected as an improvement in cooling has ended up affecting the aerodynamic stability and overall balance of the car. At this point, it is essential to understand that Verstappen is a driver who gets the most out of any car. His driving skills have partly made up for the RB21's shortcomings, but even his talent has limits. When the car decides to behave like a roller coaster, not even the world champion can save the day. And this could be Red Bull's true Achilles heel in the title fight. In recent weeks, rumors about the future of the RB21 and the relationship between Verstappen and Red Bull have reached a level of intensity rarely seen in F1. From the paddock to specialized forums, the leaks have generated a climate of uncertainty that threatens to destabilize the team in the midst of the championship fight. What once seemed like a technical issue has now evolved into a real topic of debate about Verstappen's continued presence and Red Bull's strategy to maintain its dominance. One of the most talked about rumors revolves around the alleged offer Ferrari has put on the table to tempt Verstappen. There is talk of a multi-million-dollar contract that could open the door to a historic team move. This type of news doesn't just come out of nowhere, and although Red Bull has tried to deny it, the RB21's lack of consistent results at key circuits has fueled speculation. Could Verstappen be losing confidence in his team? The question no longer seems far-fetched, especially if the car doesn't allow him to fight for victories with the consistency required by a world champion. Another rumor that has gained traction in recent days concerns the relationship between the team's engineers and the simulator. According to sources close to the team, the RB21 has raised doubts about the correlation between simulator data and actual on-track performance. Helmut Marko even admitted that they sometimes rely more on Verstappen's intuition than on the numbers spit out by the software. This situation has created an atmosphere of internal mistrust that could further complicate the car's development. Furthermore, some claim that the redesign of the cooling system, one of the most significant changes to the RB21, was a risky gamble that has ended up taking its toll. In seeking a balance between thermal and aerodynamic efficiency, Red Bull has placed its engineers at a technical crossroads that they have yet to fully resolve. Rumors suggest that this could be affecting performance during long races and causing uneven rear tire wear, an issue Verstappen has repeatedly cited as one of the main challenges of the season. This climate of uncertainty has been fueled by ambiguous statements from management. Christian Horner insists that the team is confident in the development process, but his words contrast with Helmut Marko's more skeptical tone. Meanwhile, Verstappen maintains a cautious tone, suggesting that, although he remains committed to Red Bull, he is not willing to give up his title aspirations. This interplay of statements, leaks, and rumors has turned the RB21 into the most controversial car on the grid. With this landscape of rumors and uncertainty, the question on everyone's mind is, how are Red Bull and Verstappen reacting to this situation? At the heart of the Red Bull team, tensions have begun to surface. Christian Horner, always the optimistic spokesman, insists that the team fully trusts the development process and that updates will arrive in time to return the RB21 to winning ways. His public statements convey confidence, but internally there are signs that not everything is going as it should. The pressure to maintain dominance has become constant, and every weekend feels like a test of fire for engineers and mechanics. Max Verstappen, meanwhile, has become the thermometer of the situation. His words at Suzuka, when he said that "we found the perfect balance," contrast with the frustration he showed at the Chinese GP when he described the car as an unpredictable machine. This duality reflects what is happening in the garage, a team that, at times, seems invincible and at others, feels like it is fighting a ghost. Verstappen has made it clear that he doesn't want to rely on miracles every weekend, a statement that has resonated like a warning to everyone at Red Bull. Helmut Marko's stance adds a touch of realism, or perhaps harshness, to the official narrative. Marko hasn't minced words when acknowledging that the simulator has produced erroneous setups on more than one occasion, and that in those cases they have relied more on Verstappen's intuition than on computer calculations. This admission, while sincere, also reflects the distrust that has settled in some areas of the team. Trusting in the driver's talent is fine, but if the main development tool fails, the pressure falls even more heavily on Verstappen and his ability to overcome technical shortcomings. On a technical level, Pierre Wacht has defended the design decisions, arguing that the new cooling scheme is a necessary evolution to maintain competitiveness. However, his words have been interpreted by some as an attempt to justify what has actually been a risky gamble that has yet to bear the expected fruits. Engineers are working against the clock to correct inconsistencies in tire management and aerodynamic stability, but uncertainty remains the main focus of every race weekend. In this climate, Verstappen seems determined not to give up, but he's also unwilling to shoulder the full weight of a car that isn't performing as he expects. The near future of the RB21 and Max Verstappen is shaping up to be a true test of fire for Red Bull. With the most intense calendar in Formula One history, each race represents a technical and strategic challenge that can mean the difference between a successful championship and a season to forget. Red Bull engineers have launched an ambitious update plan that, according to internal sources, includes a complete overhaul of tire thermal management and a new brake cooling system. These improvements are key to addressing the weaknesses the RB21 has shown on street circuits and low-speed tracks. Fans and analysts agree that the RB21's operating window is too narrow. This means the car performs wonderfully in ideal conditions, but easily falls apart when variables change, such as ambient temperature or tire degradation. This issue has been one of Verstappen's biggest headaches so far this season. Red Bull knows this and has decided to allocate the majority of its CFD and wind tunnel budget to correcting these critical points. Pierre Wacht has confirmed that 60% of development resources are focused on aerodynamic balance and cooling, especially at circuits like Monaco and Singapore, where the RB21 could be vulnerable. In addition to technical issues, Red Bull also has to manage the human factor. Leaks about internal tensions and Verstappen's possible departure have put the team in a delicate situation. The trust between driver and team is as important an asset as the car's performance, and any rift in that relationship can lead to unexpected decisions. Verstappen, who has always been a loyal driver, could reconsider his future if he perceives that Red Bull is not giving him the necessary tools to fight for the championship. The combination of inconsistent results and tempting offers from other teams could become a dangerous cocktail for the team's stability. The coming months will be decisive. If the updates Red Bull is preparing work as expected, they could consolidate their dominance and restore Verstappen's full confidence in his team. But if the solutions aren't implemented in time, the RB21 could become the Achilles heel that ultimately breaks the relationship with their star driver. This would not only affect the 2025 championship, but could also open the door to a radical change in the Formula One driver market. What's at stake is not just the season, but the very future of the relationship between Verstappen and Red Bull. In short, the Red Bull RB21 has become a technical and emotional challenge for both the team and Max Verstappen. What promised to be a natural and dominant evolution has turned out to be a car with a complex personality, capable of shining on certain circuits and crumbling on others. The innovations introduced, such as the cooling system and aerodynamic modifications, have failed to resolve the inconsistency that has so frustrated Verstappen. This driver, who has proven capable of extracting the maximum performance from any car, has reached the limits of his patience. His talent remains undeniable, but even the best need a reliable car to achieve glory. The RB21 situation is the perfect example of how a dominant team can be stumbled upon if it fails to align every technical detail with the confidence of its star driver. Now more than ever, the decisions Red Bull makes in the coming weeks will be crucial in defining not only the season, but also the immediate future of the series. The truth is that Max Verstappen remains the epicenter of this whole story. His ability to adapt to the car's difficulties is what has kept the team in contention for wins. But the question is, how long will he be willing to accept the RB21's limitations? How far will his loyalty go if solutions don't come in time? These are the questions that keep the entire paddock on tenterhooks and could define the driver market in 2026.